I am going to get started on boat number 2 here. Some of you guys have probably seen some media on this boat already. We launched it just a few months ago, but the one we have here is just a little bit more special. So let's do it, guys. All right, guys, so right here, you're seeing one of 50. We'll hop in a second and we can actually tell you which number this one is. I think it's probably top 5 because we've only built a few of them now. But this is a 50th anniversary edition 2018 Mastercraft XStar. So that's why we did these gold flake kits. Some of you may have even seen the Pro Star that sports kind of the same gel design. There'll be 50 of those made as well. And so yeah, we're really excited. We had our 40th 10 years ago, and that was that red and black one. I already talked to a couple people here today who still own that boat. And hey, maybe it's time for the upgrade. But that boat was beautiful. I saw so many of them traveling around the world, and now I'm really excited to see a few of these in the field because they're beautiful once you get it out in the sunlight. And I want to tell you guys a little bit. Again, we've only Mario, how many of these have we built to this point?
I think we're at about 10 or 12 right now.
In total XStars, not 50th?
Yeah, total XStars.
Yeah, so we're in the realm of 10 to 15 boats of the new XStar, of the 50th, much less than that. So it's pretty special to see this one sitting here on the ground today. We had it at our dealer meeting in December. We had number 1 there. It was pretty awesome to unveil that for our dealers as well. Now, for those of you guys who aren't familiar, the XStar is our flagship wakeboard boat. But when we got started with this, we've been working on this boat for about 3 years now. And we started with a small scale model in a tow tank in Michigan. So the boat was a couple feet long, and we did a bunch of simulations to test different hull designs and wakes before we built a full scale model. And then we gradually, about a year after that, we built our first what we called mule boat, and then we took it from there. And this is the final product. When we first started, though, I had some disagreements with some of the product development crew because I said, hey, with what's happened with wake surfing the past several years, I understand it's our flagship wakeboard boat, and it's rich with wakeboard history from the X Games. We just did the World of X Games this past year on ABC with Steele Lafferty winning it. So I said, I get that, but with how much the market has shifted towards wake surfing, we need to use our flagship wake surf boat, the X23, as our baseline for surfing. So they said, well, that's great, but creating the best wakeboard wake in the world and having the best wake surf wake, like, there's gonna be some compromises there. And I just said, if it's the 50th anniversary XStar and that's when we're unveiling this, we can't have any compromises. So what we did, they said, okay, fine, that's what we'll make the model charter. We'll have it be best in class wakeboard boat and the best wake surf boat, which again, the last several years has been the X23, so that's what we use as our baseline. And the one other wrench I did throw in there is I said, hey, I know it needs to be a world-class wakeboard wake, we need to have that X Games style wake, but 99% of our customers don't need that wake. So how do we create something that has that top level wake but doesn't sacrifice anything at the lower level, slower speed, shorter line lengths, for someone learning their first wake jump? Because most of our customers are learning wake jumps, grabs, maybe basic inverts, but they don't need that top pro level wake. So how do we build all of that into one whole? And that's why this project took 3 years. But what we ended up with was a boat that is literally the most versatile wake boat in the industry. And what I mean by that is it's got 3 profiles for wakeboarding. So it's got a beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And as you activate each of those, it fills up different levels of ballast. Obviously, total ballast in this boat is 4,100 pounds. The easiest way to understand how that's distributed is there's 4 hard tanks, each 800 pounds. So that's your 3,200. In the rear, you've got custom bags on each side that are 450 each. That's your other 900. So that gets you to the full 4,100 pounds. What's awesome though is that we're running pumps that allow you to fill all that weight in 3 minutes. So 4,100 pounds in 3 minutes. And that's a first in the industry. And we're also really excited about that because we feel like this boat serves so many skill levels for both surfing and wakeboarding, and to be able to switch between those skill levels in 1, 2, or 3 minutes is exceptional. It'll just improve your time on the water and just decrease that time when you're kind of sitting there listening to the pumps run and wait for the next rider to get the weight down in. So again, beginner profile is actually no weight. Still has a really nice shape, but it's much more manageable for someone learning their first wake jump. So that's no weight, but keep in mind, this boat weighs 5,800 pounds. So this boat over here is 25 feet, but much shorter freeboards, not nearly as tall, not carrying as much ballast. This boat is 23 feet and 5,800 pounds. So that gives you an idea how much more height we had to add to carry all that weight. As you go to intermediate wakeboard setting, you fill up about half the ballast, so it gets you to around 2,000 pounds. And that's going to be great for someone who's progressing to do 180s, maybe their first inverts, grabs, and then from there you go to that full ballast, 4,100 pounds, and you'll be at the advanced setting. And that's kind of like your very advanced pro level and beyond. And with that, so you've got a similar tank configuration to most of our boats with one exception. So you've got 2 long rear tanks. You have 1 transverse tank, which is brand new for 2018, and it's specific to the XStar. And then you've got your normal kind of forward center tank. Again, each of those 800 pounds. But what's cool about that transverse tank is that when we go to wake surfing, we only fill it 75% of the way. What that allows us to do is get some water moving around to each side of the boat. So in the past, if you were surfing and you wanted to tweak the wave a little, you asked somebody to move over. Essentially what we've done is we've built that into the profile. So that 75% in the transverse tank helps push just that little extra water over to whichever side it is that you're surfing and help clean the wave so you're not asking people to move around. We've even found that due to the transverse tank's effectiveness, you could have people offset to the wrong side of the boat and still have a clean surf wave. So we're really excited about that transverse tank technology, and we're looking at ways to implement that in some other models because it's been so successful. And again, just like I said with the XT25's versatility, one of the things that I've been the most happy with is at the end of our validation, I said, hey, part of what I wanted this boat to do was work well for everybody. So within categories, in terms of different skill levels, beginner, intermediate, advanced, and across categories, whether you want to surf or wakeboard. So to do that, I said, hey, I know what a good wakeboard wake should look like for a beginner, but I'm not a beginner. So what I did is I had a friend send his son out, 12 years old, Max. Good beginner, fairly consistent wake-to-wake jumps, but like a very good example of a beginner wakeboarder. So I invited him out. He rode the boat. I pulled him at beginner and advanced, so 0 ballast and half ballast. And he was coming out of an XT21, which we have over here, which is one of our best crossover boats. But he said when he first looked at the wake, he couldn't believe the height, and he was super intimidated. I encouraged him, I shortened his line, slowed his speed. Again, like I mentioned with the XT25, even as heavy as this boat is, we're able to run at that 18 mile per hour speed and still have a clean wake for a beginner learning to cross the wake or do little one wake jumps into the middle. So I convinced Max to try to hit it. He hit it a couple times and he said, it was kind of scary the first couple times, but after I hit it, because the transitions are so long and mellow, it was easy to take off of and way easier than anything I've ever been on to land because it was that forgiving. The landing zone was that much bigger than what he was used to. So I was really, really excited to hear that was Max's response coming out of one of our premier crossover boats, the XT21. What was even cooler though was an hour later, Rusty and Harley came out. Harley's the best wakeboarder in the world. If you guys haven't seen some of this stuff, check it out on YouTube. It's Harley Clifford. He came out, and in 3 minutes, due to that fast fill ballast system, I went from Max to a wake for Harley in 3 minutes. And Harley was doing back-to-back double flips and just insane stuff. So 3 minutes from Max to Harley and anyone in between. So that is really what I was passionate about with this project. And I think it's what, you know, in the past XStars, people really like the appeal of it, the style, the progressive nature of that styling and some of the lines. But now what's great is people can get that, and they get a boat that meets what they need functionally in a hull for what they want to achieve on the water.